Hi, and welcome back to Mix Kitchen. Well, fall is in the air, and it's one of my favorite seasons. I love all of the wonderful squash and pumpkins and the warm apple cider that we get to drink this time of year. Everything apples. And one thing I always love to do in the fall is they get usually just a certain amount of baking pumpkins in the grocery store. And so I will get a couple of those pumpkins, bring them home, roast them just like a squash, cut them in half, although it's very hard to cut them in half. Pull out those pumpkin seeds, roast them in the oven, and scoop out that pulp. I blend it up and use fresh pumpkin puree in as many recipes as I can. So I have some of that fresh pumpkin puree right here, and today we're gonna mix up some pumpkin cupcakes. So to start with, I have my mixer, and we're going to get some shortening and 2/3 a cup of sugar, and we're gonna cream the butter. While that is creaming, I have some flour that has been sifted, and then I'm gonna sift the other dry ingredients. So we're gonna start with the flour, and then we're gonna add all of our seasonings. So I have some baking powder. We're just gonna throw that on top of the flour, not sift it quite yet. I have a tablespoon of cinnamon. I have 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cloves, and then 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. All right, so there's all of our dry ingredients. We're just going to sift that all together. Now we'll check on the butter and the sugar mixture. This is looking pretty combined, so I'm gonna pause it here really quick and add an egg, and then we'll start this again and blend up that egg. Now we are going to incorporate our pumpkin and milk with the dry ingredients. So we're gonna do this by alternating. So we're gonna stop that, and we're gonna add a little bit of our flour mixture, about half. Mix that for a couple minutes. Okay, now we'll add our pumpkin puree. And 2 tablespoons of milk. So we'll add that with the pumpkin. Okay, we'll mix this up for a little bit now. Looks pretty good, and then we'll add the rest of the dry ingredients. Pretty simple. Well, that's mixing. I'm going to get our muffin pan, and we'll add our muffin cups. This recipe makes 8 to 12, so we'll start with 12 and see how we do. It has some beautiful color, and you can see those cloves and the nutmeg, just little specks of that dark spices. All right, now I have a little muffin scoop. We'll start with adding 2 to each cupcake. Or general rules of about 2/3 of the way full, because we need a little room for it to rise because we added that baking powder. Okay, so now we're gonna bake the cupcakes for about 25 minutes in a 350-degree oven while we make up our sauce. While our pumpkin cupcakes are in the oven, we're gonna mix up the sauce. Now you can either make it lemon or orange. Today I had oranges on hand, so we're gonna make an orange sauce. And we're gonna start with 1/2 cup of sugar and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. And I'm just gonna whisk that to kind of get the lumps out of the cornstarch. And then we're gonna powdery. We're gonna turn this on low, and then I have some boiling water. So I have 1 cup of boiling water. Add that to our sugar and cornstarch. And then we're going to boil this and stir it constantly for 5 minutes. So I'm gonna really watch the temperature here, make sure we don't just just go crazy boiling, but at the same time, we don't just want it simmering. Set the timer and start stirring. All right, it's been 5 minutes and the cornstarch has really made it into a thick consistency. And so it's starting to feel and look like a sauce. Right now it's just pretty clear. And so I have a tablespoon of butter. So we're going to add that. And I have 2 tablespoons of fresh squeezed orange juice. So we'll slowly add that. Beautiful color. Ooh, it smells like citrus. It's gonna be great. It makes about 1.5 cups of sauce. It can really go on more than just pumpkin cupcakes. It can go on any type of a bread pudding, a dry cake, anything like that. Just a nice little addition. Okay, so I think the butter has melted. I don't see any more lumps, so I think we are good to go. So we're gonna pull this off the stove top, let it cool down a little while we wait for the cupcakes to finish baking. All right, the timer has gone off. It's been 25 minutes. If they need to stay in, you can give them a little more time. We're looking for a nice golden brown. But I think these are ready to go. They look beautiful. Ooh, I can smell the nutmeg. Smells like fall. I love it. All right, now they're gonna be awful hot, but we'll pull one out here. And if we let them cool, they're gonna come out of the wrapper a little easier, but who wants to wait for them to cool? We have to try one right away. All right. And then I have some sauce. As it cooled down, it really thickened up nice. And so we'll add a little orange sauce over our cupcake. This is a little different than the normal frosting, isn't it? I kind of like it though. Change it up a bit, like a nice glaze. Wow, it's really good. I love this sauce versus the frosting. A really nice change. And the pumpkin's good, and you can see little flakes of the pumpkin in it, along with the cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg. So good. I last so much longer. I'm gonna eat this whole thing. This is gonna be a hit. There you go. I must have liked it. Well, I hope you'll try and enjoy these pumpkin cupcakes with an orange sauce to drizzle on top.